want to go out and buy all those racks of hardware and deal with the service contracts and having spare parts and having to multi-home your own network connections and deal with power and deal with backups, all of that stuff. So it was pretty clear that we would launch in the cloud. When looking at the different clouds, there were a lot of concerns about various approaches, and this was almost 3 years ago. One of the major challenges for us has been scaling at Facebook scale. We need to be able to service a decent sized percentage of the Facebook community with one of our applications. Some of our applications will launch with a large ad campaign behind it, ad buys on Facebook, big mailing lists out to millions of emails, and we need to be able to absorb that kind of traffic immediately and to grow as that traffic gets bigger and bigger. A successful campaign, a really viral campaign, can go from nothing to millions of users within the span of a month. We also get some additional kind of cool stuff out of the Joyent solution in that we're not actually constrained to the CPU usage that we bought. When we need to do a big export, a big load, a big database modification, anything like that, even if it's just an hourly thing that runs that just bursts, we can burst on the CPU because we're not inside an actual Zen or hypervisor instance that is very limited and the OS is running entirely within that. We're running inside a slice of a real OS that will actually let us burst up to the full number of cores on the machine. We knew we were going to use a relational database, not for everything. We now are using some non-relational databases for other things, but at the time, we definitely wanted the ability to build a MySQL database and have it persist, and Joyent was offering real disk persistence. The database has always just ticked along beautifully. We have databases that have been running for, I don't know, 400 or 500 days on Joyent, just on these virtual machines, just running, and perfectly happy, and that's what you want. When you're a Unix admin, you don't want to log in and see uptime, 4 days. It's not really much of an accomplishment. When you see uptime and it's over a year, that's pretty good, right? Over 2 years, that's getting really good. We've been serving millions of hits an hour, and a lot of those very database driven, and it's never been a real bottleneck for us. We're always looking at tuning our queries and the things that we wrote, but the database is doing the right thing and the server is doing the right thing, and they're both scaling really nicely, and we always have a lot of headroom. With Joyent, we have a cloud that's kind of the best of both worlds, where it's a true cloud, but it's also a managed environment, and I can call somebody and get them on the phone and say, I don't know why this is doing this, or I need help with this, or in rare occasions, is this down? And get that kind of real personal support and build actually real personal relationships with the people who are helping us grow what is really the core of our business, and really providing that massive infrastructure underneath everything we do. And to have that kind of interaction, that kind of relationship, means that I can really get a sense of who I can count on, and that I can count on building my business on top of this.